We'll talk about it hour number 2, SportsX Radio. Ken Thomson, Mark Hoke, coming back with Mikey D, hour number 2, and head coach Fran McCaffrey from Iowa. We'll be right back. Without further ado, welcome in my good buddy, Mikey Domagala. This guy, he used to stay up till midnight, 1 a.m. Didn't matter. SportsX Radio was on late. It didn't much matter. Domagala, he would burn the night oil and hang out with KT. Now, I get him at a normal time, back there, East Coast, a little after 10 o'clock. So Mikey's just getting ready to go out and party. Just figures, hey, I'll get that SportsX Radio segment in, and then I'm out with the boys. Mikey D, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? It's been a very, very interesting couple nights in the NBA with Embiid and Towns and Doc Rivers being hired in Milwaukee now. And, yeah, Ken, it's nice to talk to you a little early. I get the early bird special with you tonight.
There you go. That's right. Early bird special. I did not know it was official. I did see Doc Rivers was the front runner. Adrian Griffin out after 43 games. Bucks first-year coach. Not like the record was porous, but when you're looking at Bucks standards, they expect to win, especially going out and getting Dame Lillard, teaming up with Giannis. You got to take care of business. And I guess they feel that the team just wasn't dominant enough, even against some of the weaker foes. They were struggling a little bit out of the gate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was just confirmed on NBA on TNT. CNN Sports actually was first to report it. I just read on TV. But, yeah, I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks 30-13 start. Any other franchise can? Man, that's an incredible start. If my Knicks started like that, the whole city of New York would be going wild right now.
Yeah, I'm happy. Look, I'm just happy they beat Brooklyn with a 10-3 run to end that game at the Barclays Center.
They look great tonight. But back to the Milwaukee Bucks. If there's trouble in paradise with their superstar and, of course, franchise legend and Giannis, they'll listen to him. And there's a disconnect with the team between Griffin, Giannis, and everybody else. Damian Lillard even admitted he wasn't trying as hard on the defensive end. He couldn't really catch on to his offensive scheme. And they know Doc Rivers is a, championship-level head coach out there announcing games on ESPN. And the whole team, all the players in a players-only meeting probably came together and agreed that Doc would be the better way to go. And I think Giannis went to the, franchise and told them to make the move. I think that's what it was. 30-13 isn't a bad start, but Giannis has bigger and better things on his mind. And that team just isn't a good defensive scheme team right now, and a change will probably be the best thing that they need right now.
All right, so without further ado, we will also bring in my producer, Marco, because he's a huge Sixers fan. He is so happy that Doc Rivers is taking over Milwaukee that he feels like that's the kiss of death for the Bucks. Hoekster, weigh in, pal.
I'm thrilled. Go Bucks, third place. Woo! That's exciting.
Mikey D, come on, man. I know Boston's the front runner right now, but I think Doc is perfect for Dame Lillard and Giannis's temperament.
Yeah, I think so. I think they just didn't. I mean, I don't even think. I've been reading reports that they just didn't respect Adrian Griffin. Personally, I think they shouldn't have gotten rid of Budenholzer a couple years back. I think he was perfect for them. He led them to the championship, and what more can you really ask for him? Yeah, Philly's special. I mean, just look at Embiid dropping 70 in a win. Everybody else came to play, unlike Minnesota, who blew a lead just because Karl Anthony Towns was chasing Embiid 70, which is frankly pretty embarrassing. And then, Ken, another one today, Terry Rozier in Miami. I mean, if it's not Boston, it looks like it's Philly or Miami.
Well, I'll tell you what, Terry Rozier, I mean, Kyle Lowry's just got to feel lousy. He's going to Charlotte. And you get to play with LaMelo Ball, but at the end of the day, he's long in his career. I think Lowry retires after this year for sure. If that's where he's going to be, he doesn't have it in him, I don't think, to do any rebuilding. Although, he's still going to get a check. Why not? But Rozier, that could really, help out Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero and the guys. I mean, all of a sudden, this team could be back in the mix. I agree.
I mean, look at last year, who they went to the finals with. All right, a bunch of undrafted guys, Caleb Martin playing out of his mind, Gabe Vincent playing out of his mind. Now they're bringing in Terry Rozier, 23-4-7 this year. For a team who kind of needs the offense this year, obviously they're a great defensive team. They hustle their dogs on defense, but Terry Rozier at the 1, Ken, it's just a better alternative than Kyle Lowry and other guys that they'd put out there. That starting 5, oh my God. Very, very underrated and a lot better than last year. So if they're going to fall to Denver like they did last year in the finals, how far are they going to go this year?
That is a good point. I mean, and once you get there with Jimmy Butler, I mean, the guy really elevates his game, and Adebayo, and Tyler Hero, he's got to stay healthy. And that was a key loss last year in the postseason, no question.
For sure. I think the only thing they need is a backup point guard now. They really got nobody back there after trading away Larry. I would look into a vet. I mean, this is maybe out on a limb here, but I would go after John Wall. I mean, he's still a good defensive player. He's a veteran guy. If you get him to buy into the Miami Heat system and culture and tell him, listen, John, you're not John Wall of 2017, 16, around then. We need you to be the vet you are, the great offensive, defensive-minded point guard, to come off the bench and really play winning basketball for them. I think they gotta go into their bag a little bit and get a veteran backup point guard behind Rozier who will play actual point guard minutes because Rozier's kind of a flamethrower, not the greatest playmaker, not the greatest assist man. I don't know if he's going to change his game to fit them, but I would look into the free agent veterans.
Go ahead, Hookster, because you have Josh Richardson there, and I know Hero can play the point if need be.
Yeah, but my question, and this is really, I have two questions, but I'll fire one first, is I just don't know how you're going to beat Boston with that lineup. They just look too tough. I mean, do you see anybody that can get past them? And does Boston really have a weakness with that group?
They don't have one weakness at all. I would say maybe a tenth of a weakness is their bench production, maybe come playoff time. But, I mean, when you get a starting five of that prominence, you leave two or three of them out on the floor, that's who you're running the offensive system through. So, if Missoula is going to really play this rotation right, there's no weakness on the floor at any point with Porzingis being able to shoot or Tatum or Brown. Then there's Drew Holiday and all those guys. Who's going to match up with them? Man. When I look at the matchups, I think Milwaukee is a better matchup. The Heat are a little small for them. I mean, look at Tatum and Brown, 6'8", 6'9". That's before you look at Porzingis. It would be Milwaukee. And I'm really, really thrilled. I can't wait until the playoffs. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Boston keeping Peyton Pritchard, that gives them major depth at that point guard with White and Holiday.
For sure. I just feel like their bench is very three-point oriented, not extremely versatile. I know they have Sam Hauser who could shoot. They have Pritchard, like you said, Luke Cornett. They need a little bit more of an offensive weapon back there, and I have read reports that before the 2024 trade deadline, they're going to try to make a move. Obviously not their starting lineup, but probably some kind of bench piece who could score is what I assume they'd be going after.
Yeah, they shoot it darn well from behind the arc as a team as well, and that's what makes Boston so dangerous because at times they're going to have four guys, sometimes even five out there that can knock down that triple.
Exactly, and how do you stop that, especially when they're all 6'6" and above?
Yeah, and then, with Philadelphia, the interesting part with them is I think they're almost looking forward to next season, too, because they've got so many expiring contracts. But do you mess with that chemistry? Can you make a move that would put them in contention? Is there anything that they could do that might be able to match up enough to get them to the final?
They have the pieces. I just don't know if their system through Embiid is gonna be able to beat a Boston, a Milwaukee, or a Miami. Also, the bench production isn't as strong to compete, in my opinion. Listen, I'm very critical of Joel Embiid. I feel like he flops a little too much and his game gets exposed in the playoffs, although he's been looking incredible, probably going to win back-to-back MVPs. I just don't know. When teams scheme for him on defense and really lock in on every possession if they're going to be able to come through. I mean, the weight's going to be on Tyrese Maxey's shoulders. Kelly Oubre is going to be a very, very big X factor for them. And also Tobias Harris. I mean, it might be how good Tobias Harris and Kelly Oubre plays for the 76ers if they're going to make a run. So we'll see what happens.
So, Mikey, when you look at the East, right, and then Miami making the move, they're sitting at number 6. Indiana's at number 7, just a half game behind, and they go out and grab Siakam. How much will that infuse the Pacers? Because Halliburton, I mean, that guy's the best as far as dishing, and they play as a unit. They're fun to watch. Carlisle's doing a nice job there.
Extremely fun to watch. It's surprising that they're 0-3 with Siakam right now, but, 2 of those games without Tyrese Halliburton, who's coming back from his hamstring injury. Ken, I think they have the ability to win a first-round series if they get there. They have the ability. I don't think they're gonna, because I feel like teams are going to scheme for them. They're going to slow down their insane NBA record pace that you see in this regular season, run and gun, three-pointer every 5 seconds down the floor, and I think it's going to come back to bite them. I mean, this shouldn't be the biggest of factors, but we saw it kind of in the in-season tournament. The Lakers kind of slowed them down in that final game, and the Pacers really struggled to score. They were kind of not being able to score in the paint, and when their three-pointer wasn't falling, the Lakers were getting out and running like it was nothing on the other end, and they were just fighting an uphill battle every time. So I feel like that's what it's going to be in the playoffs. But next year, the year after, when, Halliburton matures, Obi Toppin matures, Benedict Mathurin matures, they'll be pretty scary, especially when they add some more pieces. So we'll see, but things are looking up in Indy.
All right, he is Mikey Domagala, and you can follow him on X. We're going to keep him for a little bit more, but follow Mikey D at NBA Buzz Mikey, Mikey. Mikey, was there another handle as well, or is that the one?
Yeah, that's it. That's for my basketball type discussion and retweets and talk like that. My other one is just at Mikey Domagala that I used to tweet on, when I was a little younger, Ken, in the social media game, when I would drop my thoughts on Twitter about life topics. Who knows?
Yeah, back when you were 12. I mean, come on, man.
There you go. Back when I was 12, when I just started NBA.
That's right, baby. That's incredible, man. And now 24 you're going to be, right?
I am 24. I'm turning 25 next month.
Wow. Okay, see, time does fly. Good God, you're getting old, man.
I know. You're telling me.
You kidding me? You're going to be on the bench soon. You're going to be with Kyle Lowry.
I know. I'll be tweeting from the bench.
I might be trading you to Charlotte. It's all over.
Yeah, I could probably fit in that rotation.
I think you can, man. You definitely could come off the bench for sure. There is no question.
Youth movement over there. And, Ken, I respect it. I think they could have traded a little more for, they could have got a little more back for Terry Rozier, not just a vet and a first-round pick. I feel like they could have squeaked out 2 first-round picks. But, listen, they're just dumping their players, and they're just rebuilding for the future around Brandon Miller and LaMelo. So, who knows? Who knows? In 5 years, maybe they'll be like the OKC Thunder.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, OKC's fun to watch. They were having trouble tonight at home with Portland. Last I saw, it was tied with about 20 seconds to go. I'll update some scores. College basketball as well, and hopefully head coach Fran McCaffrey, Iowa Hawkeyes, will join us on our final segment, but we'll keep Mikey D for probably about another 8-9 minutes after we take a quick break. Come back, talk a little bit more NBA basketball. SportsX Radio 101.5 FM KDAWN, streaming live on that Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download it now. It is a free app, KT. Rocking and rolling here, PSBR Law Studios. Creighton now up 5 with 2:50 to go. At home, 76-71 over Xavier. Keeping an eye on that game. NBA basketball, Lakers and Clippers are going now, and we kept Mikey Domagala here. Mikey, couple other things real quick, NBA-wise. Wanted to get your take there. Tristan Thompson suspended for 25 games. Substance abuse policy, the anti-drug policy, tested positive for something that is not supposed to have some of these long things. But, I mean, it's not like he's killing it there. He's in the twilight of his career there with the Cavs, but still, it doesn't look good on his record, on his resume.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it kind of blunt here and just say, Tristan Thompson, why do you need human growth hormone when you're coming off the bench and playing 5 minutes a game? And don't you want to maintain that paycheck and staying in the league deep in this twilight of your career? I'm kind of confused at that one, Ken.
Yeah, I was. I all of a sudden I saw that as a headline. I was like, "What the heck? How did that happen?" The good thing though that I like to see is we're tired of losing in the Olympics or internationally. So you got LeBron and Steph and Joel Embiid and all these guys are going to be part of that squad or trying to get on that roster for Paris. For the Olympics. And I like that because I want to have our best players. If everybody else is going to have their pros, we got to have our pros, right? I mean, I remember back when it was, amateurs and we had all the college kids and that was fun. But now if everybody's using professionals, we're going to use our professionals so that we can win this thing.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I will repeat, I do not want to be one of the people who has to select that team. Because how do you fit that whole group of 44 players, I think it is, into a team of 12, 15 guys, whatever it's going to be, with all the superstars of the NBA, all the politics of the NBA coming through? It's going to be like the Dream Team when Michael Jordan didn't want Isaiah Thomas, and that has been spoken about every year since, and in documentaries and everything that's been broadcasted about the Dream Team. So there's going to be some cuts, and some players aren't going to be too happy, Ken.
Yeah, and then, of course, Golden State dealing with the death of Dejan Milojevic, 46 years old, literally dying at a team dinner at a restaurant, and everybody's shaking up big time. They actually just got back to practice yesterday, but they had their game canceled against the Jazz, and that was in Salt Lake City. And then Milojevic going back to home country. They got his body back there to Serbia and had a big to do because he was very, very well loved over there in his home country. And even Jokic going out and dedicating a game, the two-time MVP for the Denver Nuggets, defending champions, and had a huge game, was really up against it. But all these guys from Serbia, very, very close to Milojevic.
Oh, yeah, devastating stuff. I mean, the Warriors tonight, of course, I give my condolences to the family and the players on the Warriors, all that. But they did a really good thing tonight, Ken. The Warriors announced they'll be wearing a DM patch on their jersey for the rest of the season, and they put a his DM initials on the court, which I'm sure will be on there probably forever. But the jersey will be just this season, so we'll see how long that lasts on the court. And yeah, it's sad. It's definitely one of the saddest NBA deaths I've ever covered. I mean, Kobe Bryant, of course, being number one, but this one just so sudden, and knowing that it's at a team dinner is just horrific and incredibly sad.
Yeah, especially, just 46 years of age. He's a big guy, 6'7", 250, was a heck of a basketball player back himself, and won a Yugoslav Cup and Eurobasket title back in 2001. But this guy was very, very close to a lot of the players, and they were devastated.
For sure. How can you not? Another good thing, it's right on the NBA to postpone those two games. You don't just want to throw them out there all emotional and not having the ability to, cope with his death and really try to heal from it as much as they can in a few days. So, yeah, they made the right move, definitely postponing those games.
All right, last thing I want to duck in, because I love your the character that they have of you on your ex picture. So it's got you in a Knicks, outfit there, and it's great. I love it. I'm like, yeah, put that kid in, man. You got a little look of a DiVincenzo in that look. But the trade, it's always hard to part with guys like Barrett and Quickly, but you're feeling with Anunoby coming over. What about this team now? Again, they won tonight. They're 10 games over 500, sitting in that number 5 spot. What's your take on the Knicks? How far can this team go with Brunson and Randall and company?
Oh, Ken, first I got to admit, when the trade went down, I was pretty sick about it because I didn't hear about Achua coming and some other pieces in the deal. I thought it was just straight up RJ and Quickly for Anunoby. And I thought RJ wasn't that much worse than Anunoby, and I thought Quickly would maybe stay next year, so I wasn't crazy about it. But, Ken, I've done a complete 180. OG Anunoby is like a freaking black hole defense, especially next to Jalen Brunson, who's a above-average defender. DiVincenzo, Julius Randle's a solid defender. So they've been incredible. 9-1 with a great win tonight, like you mentioned earlier. And they're just playing precise, calculated, and just mature, I would say, offensive basketball. No rush shots, no bad shots. OG Anunoby is just extremely efficient. Like I said, a black hole on defense. Doesn't take a bad shot, and God, he gets those long arms, long fingertips on every ball in his vicinity. So I'm extremely impressed, and just let that 9-1 record since he's come over tell you exactly what it's been like here in New York. So I'm very satisfied, and I'll admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Philly playing good ball. They've won 6 in a row. We talked about Embiid's 70-point performance, but the Cavs sitting at number 4, and they've won 8 in a row. This team's playing pretty good ball right now.
They are. I'm not sure that, they'll be a contender. I'm not sure I believe in them, but definitely playing good ball. Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell showing their true potential. And Sam Merrill off the bench is the X factor in that 8-game winning streak. He's scored plenty of 20-plus point games and the biggest minutes of his career, and he's becoming just one of the best shooters in the NBA quickly. So it's been very impressive.
Last thing, who can upend the defending champion Denver Nuggets from the Western Conference? Minnesota, OKC, the Clippers, Nolans. Is there anybody that can upend Denver, or do you expect them to represent the West?
I think they're going to represent the West, but I want to say I believe in Minnesota, but I'm afraid in a 7-game series, they're not going to play as great against the Denver or an OKC as they're displaying in the regular season. I have faith in Anthony Edwards. I have faith in Towns, but there's just something about that lineup that I just can't totally buy into, even though they play great defensive ball. But Denver's just the team to beat. When Jokic and Murray are on, Murray, of course, having a little bit of an above-average season in the regular season, like usual. He just turns into Superman in the postseason, so it's hard to stop.
You're the best, my man. Short notice, doesn't matter. Mikey D always comes through in the clutch. Follow him, folks, at NBA Buzz Mikey, Mikey, on X. The guy is phenomenal and does a lot of great work, and easy to follow him. You'll see all the followers that he has between Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. The guy is unbelievable, and he's a kid. 25 years old he's going to be. My goodness, absolutely incredible. You're the best, Domagala. We'll talk to you soon, Mikey D.
Ken, as always, I appreciate it. Everybody go follow NBA Buzz on all platforms as well. And, you'll be up to date with all the NBA content you need. If you're into MMA and boxing, check out my new page, Combat Buzz. That's something I've been developing. And, Ken, as always, it's a pleasure.
There you go. Combat Buzz, another one. Mikey D, always putting a pedal to the metal.